Hey, it's Rafi. Let's talk. So, I figured let's talk about some of the different places where you can do ESL teaching. So, I've been doing that for quite some time, kind of on and off for the past decade. I did go to university in Korea and I was also going to university in Japan, so kind of teaching and going to school. But a lot of people have been basically asking me to make some kind of video talking about the differences between the countries and the benefits between each country. So I figured, let's just start something simple. We're gonna just talk about China. So I moved to China in 2017 and I worked there for about a year. I worked with a company called EF. I think I'm allowed to talk about my experience with the company. And then I also worked, like a year later, I worked at a kindergarten, like a proper kindergarten. And I just wanted to kind of talk about the sort of benefits that you'll have by working in China. So I think most people, when they want to go abroad, when they want to go to East Asia, at least like Japan, China, Korea, they kind of assume that, oh, China's going to be kind of ratchet or China's going to be kind of shitty or whatever. And that they probably would prefer to go to Korea or Japan, because obviously, a lot of people want to go to Japan, a lot of people want to go to Korea. And actually, I'm in Korea right now. But honestly, China's kind of, the place to be if you want to do ESL work. Because, as I mentioned, a lot of people want to go to Japan, a lot of people want to go to Korea. There are a lot of weeaboos, there's a lot of Korea-boos. No such thing as a China-boo. So obviously the people in China are going to have to give you a lot more benefits. So, whilst if you live in Korea or Japan, you're probably not going to have any time off. So that's number one. You're probably not going to have any time off. Or you might have like 1 day or two. You might have some sick days, but very, very few days off at all. So, you're not really going to be able to kind of enjoy the experience as much. You can't really go on holiday. You can't really see anything. But I mean, I guess if you're a Korea-boo or you're a weeaboo, all you want to do is just live in Japan or Korea, that's probably good enough for you. But if you actually want to experience stuff, you actually want to go around, do stuff, then China's probably a better bet for you. So first, yeah, definitely, you're going to get more time off. Second is money. So if you want to make money, Japan and Korea are probably not for you. Because obviously, there's a lot of people wanting to come here to Korea or to Japan. They're not going to give you that much money. Also, I just feel because, the population is just so much smaller. Like, there's so much more people in China. Like, there's money in China. Like, you want money, you go to China. Because, basically, if you work in a tier 1 city, basically, they have a tier system in China. Maybe later we can go over the exact tier system because I don't really remember it. I lived in a tier 1 city. I lived in Shanghai. You work in a city like Shanghai, if you work at a proper kindergarten, you'll probably make a good amount of, you'll probably make like a good, you could probably make like $4,000 a month, something like that, US dollars, or like 3,000 pounds a month, something like that in GBP. So yeah, you can make a lot of money. And obviously when you're in China also, the cost of living is so much cheaper that it's gonna go a long way. It'll go a long way. So honestly, that's also definitely kind of a good thing. And then also just in terms of just, the third thing is definitely just in terms of flexibility of lifestyle. You'll probably, again, it really depends where you are, what kind of school you end up at. And that's really the same, it kind of goes the same in Japan or Korea or China, is that you could be at a good school, you could be at a bad school. It just, it just basically depends on your luck. But in China, I would say for the most part, they're just a little bit, the working culture is just much less intense feeling. And although they're definitely much more kind of well, tomorrow you got to do this, or today we're going to do this. And you might be kind of well, I don't have any time to do that. But they're just well, you just got to do it. And then you're just going to have to do something randomly. But honestly, they kind of do that here too. At least you're getting paid you're getting kind of paid better in China than in Korea or Japan. But yeah, it's basically a lot of different benefits to coming to China. That's why a lot of people seem to think that I'm a lot of people think I'm the #1 promoter for going to China, because honestly, I really liked it. I'm not there anymore. I left for various reasons. I kind of wanted to come back to Korea. because this is kind of what I study and I want to do my PhD and stuff, so that's why I've come back here. But yeah, if you want the money and you want the lifestyle, then honestly, like, China's definitely a better bet for you. Like, yeah, much better. I hope that this was helpful to some extent. It's a very, very short video, and maybe I'll make something a little bit more extensive, but I figured I've been pressured to make something, so I'm just gonna make something, and we're just gonna talk about it, and I'm just gonna throw this out into the world, and we'll see if anyone sees it. I feel like I should probably go into slightly more detail and maybe like put some more like infographics or something, I don't know, to make it a little bit more entertaining, because I feel like it's maybe a little bit boring. Yeah, so I hope that this was helpful for you in some way, and yeah, peace, bye.